Hi, welcome everyone. Today in this short lecture series, I'll be discussing about our evolving concepts of COVID-19 and its clinical implication. I'll be sharing few facts which is very important to understand the disease and to treat the disease. This is an extract from the research done by Dr. Paul Marik. Coming to the first fact, this is not a flu or regular viral disease. We are dealing with a smart virus who is capable of not only causing direct damage but at the same time which can also manipulate our own immune system, leading to extensive and even irreversible damage. So once again we are dealing with a virus which is capable of manipulating our immune system. So how does it make it different from other common respiratory virus? For example, if you are having a common respiratory virus, it enters the cell via receptors and the viral RNA is released into the cell. This in turn attaches to the pattern recognition receptors at the nuclear level. This will lead to gene transcription of chemokines as well as interferons. It is important to understand interferon 1 and interferon 3 produced in response of viral RNA is having antiviral property, which will give protection to the host. As we can see here, there will be release of chemokines which will lead to inflammation and there will be immune cell recruitment also. The release of interferon 1 and interferon 3 is having a potent antiviral state. This helps the host to overcome the disease at an early stage. But in case of SARS-CoV-2, the scenario is different. SARS-CoV-2 enters the cell via ACE2 receptors. This viral RNA will transcribe and lead to antiviral response like the other viruses, the interferon 1 and interferon 3. At the same time, it will be having chemokine expressions. But here is the difference. 1. SARS-CoV-2 infection drives a lower antiviral transcriptional response that is marked by low interferon 1 and low interferon 3 levels. So there will be low immunity against COVID-2 virus. Second, there will be a strong chemokine expression compared to other respiratory virus. So we are having an interferon response which is very low compared to other viruses. This low innate antiviral defense and high pro-inflammatory response partially contributes to the initial virulence of the second problem is that there is a growing concern that even if the patient recovers from mild, moderate or even severe COVID-19 disease, there will be lingering symptoms of the illness for 1 or 2 or maybe even more than 3 months. This includes neuropsychiatric, general health problems, and it is seen that there is a higher incidence of post-COVID sequelae like pulmonary fibrosis, decreased quality of life, fatigue, and there is a fancy name for this. This is known as the long hauler syndrome. This is a recent article where they have followed COVID patients for 3 months. What they found was interesting. Considerable proportion of survivors without critical illness, that is, patients without critical illness, had radiological and physiological abnormalities even after months of discharge. Coming to the next fact, it is extremely important to understand that the disease progression is through different phases. A thorough knowledge of the phases is important to understand the disease as well as to apply the treatment strategy to the patients. I will try to explain the stages. The phases of the disease can be divided into 4: the incubation period, followed by the symptomatic phase, followed by the early pulmonary phase, and the late pulmonary phase. Among these 4 phases, the early pulmonary phase is very important or is very critical regarding the treatment options. First is the incubation period. In the x-axis I have shown the days and the y-axis I will be showing the severity. First we will try to understand what will happen with the viral replication. The viral replication starts at the end of the incubation period and it is the maximum during the symptomatic period. After that the viral replication phase comes down, and the late pulmonary phase we are having very minimal viral replication, and the early pulmonary phase also viral replication is there, but compared to the symptomatic phase it is on the lower side. Now we will check the immune status. So the innate immune status will start at the symptomatic phase. As we go towards the phase 3 and phase 4, the thrombophilia and the immune response increases and will lead to immune dysfunction. Here we can see the viral replication is maximum in the symptomatic phase, where we are having very low innate response. But once you reach the late pulmonary phase, the replication is almost zero, but your immune dysfunction is very high. What about the severity of disease? This is one of the important graph. We can see that the severity is very minimal in incubation period. In symptomatic phase also it is very minimal, but once you come towards the early pulmonary phases, the symptoms increases. Once you reach the late pulmonary phases, it is going to be an exponential pathway. It is going to increase like anything. So our main aim is to prevent this upward trend. So we have to address the patient in the late symptomatic phase and the early pulmonary phase very aggressively. Coming to the second graph, this is also an important graph. Here in the x-axis, I have shown the weeks for -2, -1. It is divided into two phases, before the symptom and after the symptom. So we will try to find what will happen to the virus, the immune status of the patient during this time. So after the exposure with COVID-2, we will be able to isolate the virus from the respiratory tract up to day 10 or up to week 2. So after week 2 or day 10 of the symptoms, it is not possible to isolate the virus. But if you are performing a nasopharyngeal PCR during this time, we can see the nasopharyngeal PCR is going to be positive. So we will be having a area where you are not having any virus isolation, but you will be having nasopharyngeal PCR test which is coming positive. Coming to the immune status, we can see we will be having IgM response as well as IgG response. Compared to other diseases, slightly different. In this disease, we will be getting IgM and IgG almost at the same time. IgM is going to fade down very quickly, and IgG is also going to fade down after some time. Some say it is 3 months, some say it is 4 months, but still we are not having a clear idea about the antibody response. So during the symptom onset, once again we will able to isolate the virus. So during early phase, the detection is very unlikely. During this phase, the PCR is likely to be positive. In the late phase, PCR is likely to be negative. Coming back to our original graph, the peak of viremia is seen in the symptomatic phase. After this, we will be having an inflammation reaction. So it is important to understand that the initial damage is because of the virus, but after that it is the inflammatory system which is going to damage you. This is the time the patient develops respiratory complications. So once again, it is not the virus that is killing the host, it is the immune response that is killing the patient. So that is why antiviral might not be effective during this phase, or antiviral is more effective in the early phase or in the replication phase. And we can see the severity increases as we move from the incubation period towards the late pulmonary phase. Once again, as I said before, the virus disappears quickly. After week 1 or day 10, it is difficult to culture the virus. Note that the nasopharyngeal PCR will be positive. So once again, there will be a delay between the viral eradication and PCR will be negative. So you will be having a positive PCR without much of viral replication. That doesn't mean that you are having active viral replication, but it is the dead virus DNA which is giving a positive nasopharyngeal PCR. The next fact is that the identification of the stages is complicated and there will be areas of gray zone. So how to identify the stages? Incubation period, we will be not having much of the symptoms, but once you enter the symptomatic phase, you will be having fever, cough, malaise, headache and diarrhea. And once you reach the early pulmonary phase, I said this is the most critical part, you will be having shortness of breath and you will be having hypoxia. And once you reach the late pulmonary phase, where you are having ventilator supports, where you are developing ARDS and all those stuff. If you are taking a CT during this period, you can see the ground glass appearance, which is very minimal in the symptomatic phases, increases in the next two phases. In this we can see there will be very minimal ground glass appearance in the early phases, but as you pass from the early stage towards the late stage, there will be increased amount of ground glass appearance in the CT scan of the lung. Coming to the next fact, the treatment is phase or stage specific. It is very important to understand which phase of the disease we are having or the patient is having, because the treatment is phase or stage specific. So as I said before, antiviral therapy will be beneficial only in the replication phase. Maybe in the later part you need anti-inflammatory strategies, like you can give steroids or other and immunomodulatory drugs. The next fact is that once pulmonary involvement is there, treatment should be very aggressive. Progress to pulmonary phase, this is the most critical phase. Virus reaches the lower respiratory tract, it damages your type 2 pneumatocytes, patient develops shortness of breath, hypoxemia, respiratory dysfunction, also known as silent hypoxemia, or the hypoxemia without much symptoms. So as I shown here, this phase, the elderly pulmonary phase, is very important. Here you can see the oxygen saturation is almost maintained in the incubation period as well as the symptomatic period. But once you enter the early pulmonary phase, your saturation comes down. And since it's a silent hypoxemia, it is always important to have a pulse oximeter with you to identify this stage. So once you reach the early pulmonary phase, your anti-inflammatory treatment should be very aggressively. So you have to give more importance to the anti-inflammatory treatment rather than the antiviral treatment. This is to prevent the last stage or the wildfire phase where you are having cytokines. So to summarize, this is not a flu or regular viral disease. We are dealing with a smart virus who is capable of manipulating our immune system. The treatment is stage specific, so it is very important to know that the disease is having different phases or stages. Once early pulmonary phase is there, you have to treat them aggressively. Thank you.